The one where you went out to the
There's so
canal.
many tests.
You had your
Yeah,
water
we've done
level.
loads.
That one.
How many tests have you done, people?
I've done several.
Well, where are them? Have you got them for us?
They're on my-
Can we have a look at them?
Which one would you like? I have other stuff other than with auto levels, and I have other subjects I
The
dabble in.
last test
just
you
one.
did, please.
I'm not
And-
stuck on one subject. It seems like you guys are stuck on one subject.
Geometry.
Which-
that's a good subject to be stuck on.
Stuck on it,
Yeah,
and also
right.
trying to help people so they can see what it looks like when
Oh,
they actually
you
look
mean
through these tools.
trying to rewrite geometry and prove
No,
that the surface
showing
geometry
people what it looks like.
Right.
Geometry.
Who's rewriting geometry?
Ruhif.
Apparently, you guys.
How's that,
Ruhif.
You know,
people?
you guys say that the surface of a sphere is is 3-dimensional, and where it's not 2-dimensional. Whatever the hell you guys say.
Is that rewriting geometry, people?
Yeah, because everyone else says something different.
Non-Euclidean
says
geometry
something
was
different.
rewriting geometry, so
The rest of the world says the surface of a sphere is 2-dimensional, except for you guys. So apparently, the rest of the world is incorrect, right?
So, again, how are we rewriting geometry, people?
I don't know.
B-Ball's
I don't know.
taking word, he's the rest of the world now. It's the rest of the world and B-Ball versus us, apparently, I think. Isn't that right, B-Ball?
No, you guys think that the surface of a sphere is not 2-dimensional. Only you guys think
not
that.
A sphere is a 3-dimensional object, right?
So is the rest of the world incorrect?
I don't know. You speaking for the rest of the world, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Nice.
You can't even speak for yourself.
Is the rest of the world incorrect? Bev? Is the rest of the world
speak for yourself and you think you're speaking for the rest of the world?
How many dimensions are position on a sphere? On the surface of a sphere?
Is this an open discussion or just a Bev thing?
Another bad mic thing.
Yeah,
who was clipping?
Yeah.
Was that Mobius? No.
No, I tried. Did I step in front of someone?
No,
not you.
Somebody else was talking there, Crit. I don't know who it was.
Sounded like Mobius,
No,
but I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
Who was it?
I don't know. It wasn't me. I hit a bump and my phone dropped out of my hands. I had to go and fumble with it. So how many coordinates are required to describe any position on the surface of a sphere?
What?
How many coordinates are necessary to describe a position on a sphere?
I don't know. I've never tried to describe a position on a sphere. You tell us.
2.
They know about geometry.
I thought you. What sort of a sphere do you mean? Do you mean like a ball?
No, like a fucking square, Bev. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I'm just asking. Like, do we mean a sphere or the mathematical sphere? What are we talking about?
Let's purposely play dumb.
No. I'm being deadly serious. Do you mean a sphere as in a mathematical concept? Or do you mean a ball?
Just answer the fucking
a ball,
question.
a sphere.
Okay, a ball. Right. I don't know. Like I say, I've never put a coordinate system to a ball. I don't know. You'll have to tell us. It'd be like if you just put a dot on a ball somewhere, you would try and find a coordinate system, would you?
How about grid coordinates, Bev, or latitude,
grid
longitude?
Coordinates on a ball. Don't be silly.
Latitude, longitude, Bev. Jesus Christ.
You said grid coordinates on a ball.
Oh my God.
Oh, really?
You purposely play dumb. That's your game.
No, I'm just wondering. Like, a surface of a ball, you're going to put a coordinate system on it for some reason.
GPS
I don't know
coordinates,
why.
latitude, longitude.
How big's the ball?
Those are grid coordinates on a ball.
How big's the ball that we're going to put our grid coordinate system on?
Doesn't matter.
Oh God.
Doesn't matter. Okay, so let's say a little ball. I've got one here, tennis ball.
Okay.
Sure. No,
Right,
doesn't
Okay.
matter at all.
Now, how would we put a grid coordinate system on it? Right. Should we put a point? If I put a dot on a ball, right? Let's see that. That's the point we want to reference to our coordinate system. How would we do that? Go on. I've got to put a dot on a ball. You run us through it.
You draw equal lines all along that ball, and then you draw equal lines perpendicular to those lines, and then you number all the lines, and then where the lines cross, where your dot is, that will be a coordinate.
Mm-hmm. It's nice, but if the ball rolled a bit.
Oh God.
I'm being deadly serious, right? So the ball, you've put a dot on a ball, and you're going to draw a load of lines. You said something about perpendicular, which is impossible. But hey, let's imagine you can do whatever you want to imagine you can do. Then the ball rolls a bit. Like, does that change the coordinate system, or
no? It doesn't.
the coordinate system's fixed to wherever you draw the lines?
No, the dot's going to be in the same place. The coordinates of the dot do not change because the ball rolls.
Okay.
Stop being pedantic.
So you're fixing the coordinate system to the lines that you're going to draw on it.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Do you not use Google Earth, Bev?
What?
Or GPS coordinates?
Not for balls. No.
No, so you don't use Google Earth at all.
I'm definitely not for the tennis ball that we're
tennis ball. Yeah, I was just thinking.
How about?
I don't think the Google Earth's that good. I mean, you'd have to leave it in the back garden for a while and be able.
What if you were out in the woods? And what if you were out in the woods? What kind of system would you use to try and find another position you were trying to get to?
On the tennis ball?
No, in reality, if you were out
tennis
in the woods,
ball is in reality, right? We've got a dot on the ball. That's what we were doing.
No more tennis ball, Bev. No more tennis ball.
You said any size ball. That's the system that you've given us.
Bev.
Don't be changing
your
mind
tennis
now.
Ball.
Everybody's got used to the tennis ball with a dot on it.
We're out in the woods, and you're trying to get to a specific place.
Nice. Okay. Well, you'd still have the lines on the ball that you draw.
And I understand you purposely play dumb. Good job, Bev.
Yeah.
That's your game. You have no game.
You've done really well explaining this coordinate system.
A globe of any size, a globe, like the model of a globe, the thing that we have in the classroom of any size will accurately give you information about positions of things.
Right. So you could take a globe with you then into.
Right, but I can make one that's
would that be all right?
Or I can make one that's 36 inches.
Yeah.
Radius.
Yeah, you can draw lines on balls. Yeah. That's what B-ball said. You draw lines on balls. Yeah.
And now we know where things are. We've got a coordinate system that we can work from.
On the ball. Like you just go, there's a ball. The ball's there. Which part of the ball? Does it really matter? Because the ball can roll over, can't it?
I want to know where the valve stem is in reference to where the S is in Spalding.
Well, yeah, but the valve can roll about. It can be in any position, can't it?
It doesn't matter if you roll them a bat. I can still find it with a computer. I could go and say, okay, this is where the S is. Come down 45 degrees, and that's where the valve will be. It's a wonderful system.
Sounds
it allows
like
you to now
terrific operation. This. Yeah. Come in, please, Anik. Tell me where's the where's the valve thing? I'm struggling to find it. Can you give me the coordinates?
It sounds like he's working in 3D.
Yeah.
Purposely playing dumb.
Actually, I'm working in 2D.
Here we go.
What?
Here we go.
2D.
Here we go.
You can work in 2D to find a valve.
You've got a valve. You're blowing it up, right? You're pumping it up. That can't be 2D. Can it?
Finding the location of it is 2D.
Finding the location of the ball or the valve. I'm struggling to work out what exactly you think you're talking about.
Dump with everything. Right. You guys have fun with your playing dumb fest. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. That's all I can do is play dumb.
Yeah.
Here's your Greek coordinates.
Nice try.
Your coordinate system on a ball.
Yeah. They're the lines. Yeah,
Very
you
simple.
said you draw lines on. Yeah. That's good.
Yep.
So the coordinate system is the lines that you draw on a ball.
Yep. And you can find any position on Earth using that Greek coordinate system.
On Earth?
Thank you.
No, that's a ball.
Yep.
Right, so there's something relating that to the Earth we're on, is it? We've got a ball. You were talking about a ball, right? Oh. Bait and switch, huh? Sorry, not that stupid. So back to the measurements that we managed to get away from. How far can you reckon you could see through your auto level to be accurate? And in order to measure some sort of curvature, how far do you reckon you could see to measure that? Because it's been claimed that people can actually see large distances to measure these things. 1 arc second, I believe, at the last sort of thing. Although George has claimed that he can do much better accuracy than that. Much better.
Bev, do you think you could tell the difference between 10 feet and 50 feet?
Yeah, there's some different numbers there, isn't there?
Would you need to measure the difference between 10 feet and 50 feet? Or would you just be able to see, yeah, that's
I'd
a
be
lot
able to
taller.
calculate the difference would be 40 feet. It's a very easy calculation.
Would you be able to notice that a tree is taller than a car? Or would you have to measure it to find out that the tree is actually taller than the car?
I don't know. It might be a clever trick of perspective, right? Have you ever seen bonsai trees? You would have to survey it, right, in order to be able to do that. I mean, by surveying, I mean, go walk all the way around it and check it out, maybe measure it a bit, working it out, and then you'd be able to definitely work out whether a tree's bigger than a car. I mean, it sounds like a good one. I mean, you could do a video about it. Working out whether a tree is bigger than a car, B-ball. The latest globe thing. I mean, it could take off. You never know. Do you think you could?
There you go.
I measure.
Is that tree taller than the red car, Bev?
What a pathetic question, people.
Why is it that you point out what people have claimed to do and the measurements that they tout from a video that are hyper specific? Now we're talking about a tree in a car.
Yeah.
That is unmeasured.
Because I'm trying to point out that I don't have to measure the tree to know that it's taller than the car.
Yeah, there's a guy who lives in Maine, right?
Yep.
There's a guy that lives in Maine that he has looked, supposedly, B-ball. I think you might have showed us a video that you gave us for us to have a look at. We go over it again. But he claims to be able to do 1 arc second over 1,500 feet, 500 meters.
Was it people that gave us that video?
Yeah, he's given us it many times. I mean, heroes of his.
Yeah, I refer to the experts, the people who actually survey. I don't refer to
do you know
people who just have
a
surveying certificate and think that.
Yeah. Have you ever seen anybody else's surveying certificate?
And people who
how
think
many
that
surveying certificates have you ever seen?
And people who think that level and horizontal are
just one.
Clearly in surveying,
I've only seen one surveying certificate.
You guys, all you have
is
away from the denial.
I'm going to get
all
there.
You have is
he's just asked the trigger to do his trigger.
All you have is a denial of surveying.
Why are you obfuscating from the topic, B-ball?
Right. Okay. So, do you know, B-ball? Have you ever done a calculation to work out how, what distance, an arc second is over 500 meters?
I'm not worried about 500 meters. I'm worried about long distances.
Just the video that you gave us to look over with the numbers that you gave us. That's what we did. We went to go and have a look at it, and we thought, oh, that looks like something we could check.
I don't scribble about arc seconds, okay? I like to look at things that are...
You do. You just post the videos claiming that it proves something. But you've obviously don't squibbled about it because you've never fucking looked at it. You've never checked a fucking thing about him.
I don't care about short distance.
You don't even know that he's not a real surveyor. It's a bit shameful, people. You're easily fooled.
Is anybody else?
Yeah, it's just Bev, actually. So I don't care about short distances, Bev. I don't care.
You don't care about short
distances. If you don't care
about
long distances, then don't post the guy's videos as some kind of proof.
I don't care about short distances, okay?
You posted his videos and his information. Now you're saying you don't care about it.
I post many videos.
So it was people who threw Jeff under the bus. Nice one, people.
I post a lot of videos. So, and he's an actual surveyor.
Do you do as much research into those other videos as you do into the ones from the guy from Maine? I.e., fuck all.
So are you saying that the Maine surveyor is not a real surveyor?
Absolutely. Yes, I will say that right now.
How did you determine that?
He's lying. He can't set his tools up. He thinks horizontals are different with different tools.
Know more than him?
No, he's said it. He's got a video with saying that himself. Like all of my videos, B-Ball, I use the people that say that shit. They say it. I can show you where they said it. I can show you the videos that they've done that show
where who said what? Where who said what?
What are we talking about, people?
He doesn't know.
I'm asking Bev.
No, he doesn't know, does he? You've got no clue of where the conversation is at, where we started, where we're at, or where we're going.
I'm asking Bev.
You've got no clue, people.
I'm asking Bev. Who says what, Bev? Where
the
you keep saying you have
surveyor, the main surveyor that isn't a surveyor, he says that when he set his tools up, the auto level and the theodolite, one's upside down, then they're both next to each other looking over something. Mm-hmm. The horizontal crosshairs aren't in the same place. And he says that's to be expected. Not, oh shit, one of my tools is fucking out. Oh no. No.
Oh, so
he says that's to be expected.
Okay, so your claim is that he set up his tools wrong. That's your claim.
Yes, he doesn't know. He doesn't know that the horizontal would be the same.
How did you determine that?
How did I determine that? Because he fucking said it, you dickhead. How did you determine that I'm not telling you the truth?
Didn't he say
over that because over that distance, the reason why the crosshairs are above the other side is because of the
That's not the question that was asked, people. Bev asked you, how did you determine that he's not telling the truth?
How about you let people talk?
Because he's going off in the weeds.
Yeah.
As usual.
What's up, 9 o'clock? Yeah, I'll be there.
So come on, people, floor's yours. How did you determine that he's not telling the truth?
No, how does he know that the guy from Maine is a real surveyor? That's what I'd like to know.
Oh, so you think he's lying?
How do you know? How do you know? I'm telling you why I think he's a lying and not a real surveyor. Because a real surveyor would have noticed that the horizontals aren't the same, and they'd have said, shit, I don't think I'll put that out as a video, because it'd make me look like I'm not a real surveyor. How do you know he is?
That was the point of the video, was to show that they're not horizontal, wasn't it?
So that they're not horizontal?
That was the point of the video. That was the point of the video.
What are you talking about?
Keep talking, people. Keep talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the point of the video, was it? Was it not?
What, to show that the two tools set at the same height have got a different horizontal through the eyepiece? That was the point of the video, yeah?
Are we talking about the same video?
Come on, people, answer the question.
Are we talking about the same video?
We must be. Yeah. You've just said that was the point of the video, that he made a video to prove that horizontals aren't the same. Whenever you set the horizontal and different tools up next to each other, then that's the video he did. And I don't think it was called that.
Next to each other? He did it across the field. He did that
I think it was across the water. Yeah.
No.
I think, okay, now,
it
yeah,
was
it was
in
across
his
the water, wasn't it?
That was Blue who did that, I think.
No, it was the guy from Maine.
Vivo. Do you remember the main question? How do you know that the main surveyor is an actual licensed surveyor? That was the real question. Have you answered that yet?
No, he hasn't.
Then please, how do you know it?
I don't.
Ah.
But you know what? I trust him.
Thank you.
You trust him, even though he's got on video that he can't set his tools up properly?
No,
you just
that's a claim you guys have. That's a claim you guys have.
It's on video.
That's a Bev claim.
It's
No,
on
that's
video.
Not worth the powder to blow it up.
Wow.
And you just said he was a surveyor. You knew he was a surveyor like 5 minutes ago.
And even George said he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
When we're talking about this auto level and this when he's doing this setup, he determined that he set them both up to horizontal, and he's looking across a field at each other and saying that the drop is to be expected. Correct?
No.
Are we talking about two that are right next to each other?
Yeah,
two that are right next to each other.
Yeah.
He said they were the same height.
And an auto level.
No, same height, but across a field, right?
No.
Same horizontal.
Yeah, same. No. I'm still talking about where the setups are. Where are these two setups? Let's put them in feet. How many feet away are they from
right next to each other?
They're about 8 foot apart, I think.
Okay. Then I don't know why they would come up with different.
Because he don't know what the hell he's doing. That's why.
He's not a real surveyor, is he?
I don't remember him doing that, though.
Would you notice that if you were to look through the scopes of those two tools looking out over the same place and notice that they were in a different place, would you say, yeah, that's to be expected?
Why do y'all think we say these things?
Let him answer, please. Let him answer. Would you say that's to be expected because they're two different tools?
No, not that way. But I also know that you like to misrepresent things, so I'm not positive what was actually being shown. So I'm not going to argue that.
Right.
Yeah.
Great turn around there.
Nice
back
one,
on yeah, nice
So,
one.
If we can show you that he did actually do that, would you say that I wasn't misrepresenting what was said?
Sure, I'd like
And
to
say that he might not be an actual real surveyor.
I don't know. I'd have to see it.
Oh, right. What about if he made a follow-up video stating exactly the same thing, that it was to be expected?
Knowing how you misrepresent things, I don't know. I'd have to see
said
it.
That they
I can't trust you at your word.
Horizontal.
Have you not seen these videos?
Yeah.
I have seen the videos. I don't recall sections of them like he's describing, so I'm trying to now find out what he's talking about. Everything I remember from his measurement was across the field.
How about
not next to each other?
How about somebody post it that we can, jog everyone's memory?
Yeah. Do you want to take him down, right?
Wait a second. Okay, both of these tools were looking at a distant object. The auto level was above the other one. The other one, he aimed down to the eyepiece to get the angle down to the eyepiece, correct?
Nah.
You're thinking of a wrong video, buddy.
Different one.
They're going to think of every other video apart from the one we're talking about.
How about you fucking put it up so we don't have to fucking wonder about what he's talking about?
Go onto his channel. Have you not got it on speed dial?
How about I go to his channel?
No.
It's wonderful. Okay, you know, I want to provide because you're gutless.
Just have a look. Fake surveyors remain. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm looking for it now.
The guy that calls himself a surveyor. that might be in Maine, but you can't trust the fact that he's a surveyor, so he might not even be from Maine. It might just be a YouTube name that you never know.
Right.
Yeah.
And based on your knowledge, you might have just printed up that certificate and put it on your wall and faked it.
Well, that would be fraudulent.
The fact that you don't know that level and horizontal are not the same thing.
It's an actual
certificate.
With the license number. Wow. Yeah. That would be fraudulent as fuck, by the way.
Only if he sells his services.
What?
And doesn't mean he's not fraudulent.
Services of what? What are you talking
Not really.
about?
If you just print out an ID, like a personal ID, that's already fraudulent. Without
if you put it up on your wall, I think you can put anything you want on your wall in your house.
Wow, are you telling us what Fight the Flat Earth did?
No, talk about you.
Is that how all the Fight the Flat Earth got his certificate?
No, talking about you.
I see. No.
I see.
Wow, dude, you're spiraling.
Yeah.
Not normal behavior.
Childish.
But that's all right. So
you're calling what Bev is doing normal?
Yeah, totally. And what you're doing is kind of
you're a little defective there.
Totally.
All right.
Did the video get posted?
I'm on the channel. What's the video called now? I'm on his channel right now, so I'll post it as soon as someone tells me the actual name of the video. He's got a lot of videos.
Is it called the Wild Theodolite and Auto Level? There's 2 Wilds or something, and then there's a follow-up video.
Wild
Lighthouses, and then is there another one after it?
Better if you looked it up, since you know what you're looking for.
Like a review or something. I don't know.
Wild Lighthouse
from memory.
Addendum. Wild
That's
Lighthouse.
it. The addendum. Yeah. So there's the Wild Lighthouses and then the addendum. Right. Go with the Wild Lighthouses first, but be careful. Don't put it out on stream because he strikes your channel. He'll strike you. Watch out.
Oh, he will. Oh, he'll let me post it.
No, he struck Cleary's channel. So be careful what you're doing with his stuff. It gets butthurt when you look at it.
Yeah, that's why you asked him first.
B-Ball. Well, no, he gave me permission. Everyone always give me permission to go over all the videos. Yeah.
You asked him first?
It was Cleary. He got butthurt one day and talked about it. Cleary just showed the thumbnail of it and he struck him. But he got it took off. Don't worry. Right.
Well, yeah, because you don't need their permission technically to use the video if you're using it just for, entertainment purposes.
Education purposes, right?
Yeah, which
fucking upside down.
So I'm looking at this video.
So striking somebody is just being butthurt because it's just going to get reversed.
Yeah, but it stops you from live streaming for a week or so, doesn't it? Like
those crosses look well above that tower.
Maybe he just did it so clearly couldn't live stream. That would make logical sense.
Yeah. Seeing as we were going over the stuff that the guy from Maine and Jesse Kozlowski were doing, we were just checking up on it. People give it as evidence, right? And
where's the part that you're talking about, Bev?
The crosshairs. Look at the crosshairs of each of the individual things. And now one of them looks well above. The other one looks well above. They're not the same, are they? They're different. That's the point.
This is bad. The theodolite is upside down. Fucking upside down, literally.
That might be a part of something. But I mean, hey, but maybe B-Ball knows. But is that normal, B-Ball? It being upside down?
It's probably just the way he rendered the video at that point.
Maybe his phone upside down.
You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Do you think he was standing on his head and took the picture or something?
Right, but that's not the point, right? The point is that they are in different places, right? You do understand that the horizontal that's set from those two tools that are next to each other are in different places. So that means the horizontal runs from that place in two different places, in two different lines. Now, I say any surveyor worth his weight, or even anybody who doesn't really know about the surveying, would go, hey, wait a minute. They're different. They're not meant to be different. I'm going to listen to
what he's... Wait. I think he explains why one is higher and one is lower. I'm going to go ahead and listen.
Go on then. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'd love to
hear that what he says. Come back with what he says.
He does.
Maybe
he comes back and he says that it's because of calibration, and he has to calibrate them. So it's to be expected because they're not in calibration.
Oh,
wow! Good way of misrepresenting the fact.
Does that mean one of them's not horizontal?
Oh, I guess that would be what it would mean.
Right. So why would he be doing it?
Like because the example that he's showing is of
because he's not a real surveyor.
Because there's two objects in the distance.
Yeah.
And one object is twice as high as the one in the foreground, and it's below the one in the foreground.
This is a video on miscalibration. He mislabeled the video then.
Yeah. He did actually say in that video as well that the calibration would be done on the auto level after the fact, right? I mean, how good would you think there? Rakir, if you were getting your auto level out and you'll go, never mind, we'll do it after.
Because what he's describing doesn't require the auto level to be accurate.
Come on, man.
He's essentially taking a picture of something in the distance with a reference on it.
Oh, you're
the
talking
reference
about
is not of where horizontal is. The reference is where the two objects are in the distance with reference to each other.
Exactly.
Would a surveyor do
that? Way to actually misrepresent what he was trying to show. That's because you're stuck in this world where you have to misrepresent.
You're stuck in the world
where a surveyor do that?
Yeah, that's gaslighting.
Yes, a surveyor would do that when he's talking to flat earthers and just trying to describe something in the distance.
A surveyor would take two tools out and look over water. I can't imagine why he'd be doing that. And then show everybody that he can't make his tools horizontal. I mean, that's genius.
He can.
Absolute genius.
Recalibrate. Absolute genius.
I wonder how many jobs he got out of that at the end.
Yeah, he's muted for mocking and making fun of someone's voice. That's not allowed. You know that. If you want to come back a couple minutes and not do that, that's fine.
So you have your one auto level, then you look at the other one, but then you got to recalibrate the other one when you look back. But then when you look back the other way, you got to recalibrate it. It seems like you're just flopping it back and forth.
This was the same guy in a debate that said they would go to get a horizontal. They'd go out, do the measurements, go back home, do all the numbers, then go back and make the marks. I mean, we're talking about
you make it at home. You make the horizontal at home and bring it.
What he said.
Yeah. Want to make 3 marks on posts over a mile at the side of a canal. He said they'd come out for one day, have a look at it, go back, do a day's worth of calculations, and then come back and put 2 marks on a post. Half a mile and a mile away. I mean, genius. I mean, like he's obviously not a real surveyor. He's just a guy on YouTube that's got surveyor in his name. Now, this guy just happens to be the only guy that anybody ever quotes when they're talking about plumb lines. This is the guy. He's famous.
Post screenshots from his videos, post his little notebook that he allegedly got an arc second accuracy over 1,500 feet. Then people say, well, I don't care about short distances. Well, he posts his screenshots all the time.
Daily.
We did.
Daily.
We went to go and have a look. What you can see over that distance that he claims he's measured an arc second. Anybody can have a look and see what you can see over that distance. Now, bear in mind, the scopes that he has on those two instruments aren't 32 times scope. The auto level that we have it's got the best scope you can get. So he's got worse scopes than we have. So you wouldn't be able to see as accurately as we could when we saw over 500 meters. Yet,
by the way,
you have to be able to believe he can do it.
Sorry, for the audience, could you tell What do you mean? And how? What does it convert to when you say 1 arc second?
A 1 arc second over 500 meters. Mathematically, because you take it becomes the radius, and the arc second is like a 2 radiuses. It's 3 millimeters.
It becomes either 3 millimeters or in degree. Could you tell the others? How much is that, by the way?
Yeah, it's 1 arc second,
yeah.
and 1 arc second is 3,600th of a degree. And
Of
a degree,
1 degree,
obviously, is one
exactly.
360th
Of 1 degree.
of a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so everybody understands what we are talking about, because degrees,
run that by me
anybody can
again.
imagine. Yeah.
Run that by me again, Bev. You divide a circle into 360s, and
That
then you
gives you
divide
1 degree.
and then you divide that 1 degree into
60 minutes, and then you get one of those minutes and divide that into 60 seconds. So a second is a 3,600th of a degree.
Degree. Yeah, that's right. Does it sound small, guys? Like, for real.
Which
it's
is
fucking small,
3 millimeters over 500 meters. That's the accuracy that is claimed by the guy from Maine. And
to be
that
achieved,
accuracy,
right? He actually achieved that accuracy. Okay.
Well, I mean, could you achieve that accuracy if you don't know what horizontal is? I mean, like,
you got
are
bigger
you
problems.
capable of doing that? I mean, I don't know, but
I know you couldn't do it with an uncalibrated machine for sure.
People's just put a message in the chat. LOL, different tools, different calibration.
Yeah. He thinks horizontal calibrated differently because that's what the guy from Maine says, right? He actually makes an addendum, right? He makes an after video to point out that some people, I don't know who they were, might have pointed out that they're not the same horizontal. And he makes another video to tell you why they're not the same horizontal, because I don't know, the hell of it, I guess. Because Bev must be wrong, right? It's always Bev's fault for mentioning that they're not the same horizontal. Nobody else had never noticed that, would they? Not even any of the Globers. I mean, Moyok man did sort of say that they're not the same horizontal. He did notice it. He didn't notice it when he watched the video.
One is not horizontal. At least one is not horizontal.
Yeah. At least one.
So there's not a same.
There's only 2. At least one is not horizontal, and there's only 2 in the video.
Well, yes, I can't guarantee the other one's horizontal. But since horizontal had nothing
you're
to
not
do
doing
with the
too well, are you?
Since horizontal has nothing to do with the measurement, what's the problem?
Well, he's checking the horizontal, isn't he?
No, he's
the
not.
Drop from.
No.
He's checking the check.
Wait a minute.
The drop from.
He's not checking the drop from horizontal.
You're saying that the tools that he uses have got nothing to do with horizontal. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's a misrepresentation, which is your very common tactic.
Okay. Well,
please
what about
explain what
setting
you're
the tools
doing.
up so they are horizontal? Like, is that not something you would do?
He is not using them to determine horizontal.
But would you not set the tools up so they are horizontal as part of your standard procedure for you being a surveyor? Would you not do that?
I don't care. That's not what he was representing, so he did not need.
I don't care. Oh, flipping hell. Man, you're digging yourself a hole.
He's not digging himself a hole. He's helping the main surveyor dig his hole.
Mm-hmm.
He's left that video up there for a reason, right? He wants this sort of conversation to go on. I mean, he must do, right? He's left the video up. He's obviously not bothered about it. There's obviously some reason that a guy that claims to be a surveyor would take 2 tools to the side of the wherever it is, look over water at a lighthouse and show you that they aren't horizontal. One of them, at least one of them, is not horizontal. There must be some reason he wants to do that. Perhaps he wants to let you know that he's not a real surveyor. Maybe that is the reason. Subconsciously, like subliminal man type thing. See whether you notice it. See, that could be the reason, right? To see who notices the mistake he makes, even when he makes an addendum and a new video, telling you that that's exactly what he's doing. Perhaps. I don't know. I like it. So, but that was what we were doing. We just went out to go and have a look, see what you can see over 500 meters. Seeing as some people have claimed you can do 1 arc second over that sort of distance. And also, we're going to be going over the fact that it was logic night tonight, isn't it? And we're going over the logic of the perpendiculars, vertical and horizontal are perpendicular.
Did anyone want to just finish up? You know, after Bev just nicely said it concisely. Anyone want to follow up with anything?
I noticed Beeble's run away, so he's got no input in this anymore. Left lane got anything? Moyak man? Nothing?
How long do you reckon those videos are going to stay up for?
About 10 minutes.
Yeah, Saraguki, 9 o'clock we said tonight. We've got Mobius's video coming out. So that's in 2 hours-ish. And then 9 o'clock, yeah, we'll be doing the Logic thing. Tuesday Logic, Earth Awakenings. Open to everyone.
It would be nice to have the drain surveyor here to explain himself, but he seems to have disappeared. So, if you're out there, Jeff, come and explain.
Gone.
Bit like Jesse Kozlowski, and who was the other one?
Well, I think we still have Larry Scott around somewhere. I've heard him here and there, I believe. Don't we? Hey, we still got Larry Scott's
Yeah.
concrete slab following the curve of the Earth video to go over. So
it's on the
no one really
uses
him anymore. So
well, Larry might be the only one. With Sean though.
Well, B-Ball tried to force his way into the tool abuse community, but I don't think he's done that much. Maybe he has. Just keeping it, behind closed doors.
Saving it up. He might be coming out with a good video. Or we might be stopping him from becoming the next surveyor. You know, if that's all it takes to be from a certain place and then just get some tools and take some pictures, not really know what you're doing with them. I mean,
well, B-Ball would be perfect from that. He would be known as the Hawaiian surveyor.
Yeah.
Ranty's trying, right? Has he gone up his mountain yet? Or even gotten his tool yet?
I don't know. No, you'd expect them to do a picture of it, him and his auto level, right? He'd be so proud.
It's amazing that they plan on...
Sorry, mate.
Well, I'll be quick. They planned on their tool abuse adventure before they even had the tool. Now that is YouTube entertainment.
I wonder what the next unboxing is going to be like. Hopefully a bit happier than the other one.
Won't be.
I'm keen to see it. I mean, I did say to Ranty ages ago he could come and have a look at what we do on the canal and the auto level, do all that sort of stuff, but he didn't seem keen. That was when he was pretending to be a flat earther. I asked him if he wanted to do laser tests and all of that over from Southport to Blackpool when he used to pretend to be a flat earther, and he said no. Well, he didn't just say no, he just sort of...
What would be the point of that? Other than to show lasers refract through the atmosphere?
Yeah. Waving lasers at each other. Come on, have you never done that for Saturday
that's
evening?
That's what we would show. We would show lasers refract and spread out through the atmosphere. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you never waved lasers at each other?
Yes.
Yeah. How far away did you get from each other?
A couple miles, maybe.
Couple of miles. See that we would have done like 10 miles. Me and Ranty, if Ranty had come out and done it.
Yeah, but what are you trying to show? Other than
just going to show that people can get together and wave lasers at each other. It's great fun. we do it live stream it on Discord for people to not watch. I mean,
if you're going to do that, why not go play laser tag? That's a hell of a lot more fun.
You can't over 10 miles.
Sure, why not?
I was thinking we could do it from mountaintop to mountaintop and see how far we could get away from each other while doing it. I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah. Where are you going to get a laser that collimates for 10 miles?
No, you just have to be able to see the person, don't you?
Oh, I mean, right. You just have to be able to. You just have to be able to see the giant column of light that's, a half mile wide. What are you showing, Bev?
No, it's waving lasers at each other. You just have to see the laser, don't you? That's it.
Yeah. So Kool-Aid, what are you on about? Because I've got a laser observation at 9 miles, 2 feet off the ground. So I'm not sure what you're trying to. What's your point?
At 9 miles.
Yeah.
How big is your laser beam?
Dude, I can see the source. That's all I give a shit about.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I understand because light spreads out through the atmosphere. Collimated lasers decollimate.
What's the point? I have a visual of a laser 2 feet off the ground at 9 miles. That's the point that I was trying to demonstrate, that we could see the laser. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what that shows though.
It shows that he can see the laser. I mean, like, brilliant. I mean, he's not claiming anything else, right? He's not claiming that there's a prize at the end of the laser for you. He's just saying you can see it over that distance.
I also have my iPhone flashlight was set right at the top of the water, and at 6 miles we could see that right at the top of the water.
Sweet.
Your iPhone flashlight, which already shoots out in a 45-degree cone, so you're probably looking at 4 miles, 3/4 of a mile wide light distribution. Why wouldn't you be able to see that?
Yeah, iPhone lights. Yeah, everyone knows that they're obviously visible over miles.
How wide? How wide would that cone be there, Kool-Aid?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, all I saw was the light itself, right? So I see the source. Okay, look.
Or you saw the light.
Seeing the source.
You saw the light. You didn't see the source. You saw the light.
Saw the light.
The light, which has spread out and isn't a pinpoint thing, especially when you're using an iPhone flashlight, which is designed to have a wide pattern to it. So I don't see what that says either way.
Okay.
Well, just to clarify, Travis, I understand you saw the light, right?
Yeah,
that's what it says to me. No big deal.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to prove anything, that's fine.
Prove.
I still think you guys would have more fun if you went and played laser tag. But hey, each their own.
Mm-hmm. You think doing stuff. I mean, Travis, did you have a good laugh, and did you go, "Wow, that's interesting" when you did it? Like,
yeah, sure, yeah, it was very interesting.
See,
and last time you played laser tag, did you go, "Hey, that was kind of fun"?
Yeah, but
wait, no. Answer my question.
Did you prove that you could see the light over that distance?
They were both the same. Awesome. I'm glad we agree now, Bev. Thank you.
Yeah. Travis, did you prove that you personally could see that light over that distance to yourself?
Definitely proved it to myself.
There you go. What did you prove when you did laser tag?
I need more
I'll
practice.
tell you what I proved. Yeah, I was going to say, the last time I played laser tag, I proved I was getting fucking old.
Okay. And what was the purpose of that? Like, did you gain something from it?
Absolutely nothing. But when I keep asking you guys what you learned from your test, sounds like we learned the same thing. I mean, he was fun, interesting. I said, fun, interesting when I played laser tag. So we got the same thing out of it.
Well, the thing is, they want to pretend it shows a flat Earth without saying so, because then it can be challenged. They just want to pretend without saying it.
Pretend?
Yes,
is that
pretend without mentioning it, because the second you mention it, it's up for scrutiny. But if you just sit there and pretend you're not actually saying what you are clearly saying, then can just claim ignorance.
Okay, well, Travis, you know when you were seeing that light over 6 miles, was it pretending anything?
Oh no, not at all, huh?
See, he's
definitely not. I wasn't pretending to hold the phone. I wasn't pretending to squat down close to the water. Nothing was pretend.
Yeah.
The pretend part is that you think it proves something that it doesn't prove.
Oh, is it not the pretend part where you think you can think what other people think? Is that not the pretend part that's going on here?
That's also a pretend part.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that's most important is the fact that you've done something, you think you've proven something, but you're too scared to even claim so.
No, again, he's claiming what other people think.
From what I'm listening in, and I'm hearing some guy, with his laser, and he can see it at 6 miles, I think I heard. Yeah? Is that what?
Something like that?
Yeah, so 6 miles.
Just to be clear,
yeah, go on.
Yeah, just to be clear, the laser was 9 miles. The flashlight was at 6.
Oh, so you can see the laser at 9 miles, yeah?
Yeah.
What is it, on the beach? Like, did you say on the shore? But anyway,
he said he was 2 foot above the water.
All right, cool. Yeah, so, quite something, isn't it, to see a laser that far? Yeah. Fair play, yeah.
Yeah.
So what does it mean, spot on level?
Say again?
What does it mean?
It means he can see a laser at 9 miles. What do you mean, what does it mean?
That's 2 feet above the water.
Yep.
What do you think?
All of you are too scared to say it.
What are you talking about?
Okay, what are you talking about? Okay, hold on. Let me say one thing. We all know we can see the light that far. We all know that.
Yes. That is not the contention.
Oh. Well, what's the contention?
The problem is that the next step you guys take from there, you aren't willing to say out loud.
What's the next step?
You know what is the next step.
Oh,
so you're not willing to say it out loud either.
I'm not going to say your statement out loud. I'll say what I think out loud. That's what you want.
Why are you divining statements for us?
Because you're unwilling to answer the direct question when I proposed it multiple times. No, I'm in the middle of.
Tell us what you think.
Hey, I'm in the middle of a sentence, Bev.
Do us all individually.
Tell us what you think it means.
Hey, you guys want to talk all over me? I'm gonna start using my own voice. I'm allowed to finish the sentence too. What we're saying, and Gumibear can correct me if he's not saying this, is you guys are too scared to say it's a flat Earth, and that's what it proves. because you know that it doesn't, and you know that the balders in this room are going to. Hey, I'm in the middle of a fucking sentence.
You just said it's
I'm going to start over now
and that's
because
what
you
it
can't
proved.
have an adult conversation.
No, he says you think that,
So
or you guys think that. I don't know.
You
who he's
that
talking
is
about.
what you're claiming. That is what you're claiming.
No, nobody's claimed that.
No,
Kool-Aid,
that is exactly what you're claiming.
Kool-Aid,
No,
you're
you're
the only
all
one
too
raising your
scared.
voice, so just bring it
You're-
down a little bit, buddy.
Can I stop being talked over, please?
Well, I'm a moderator right now, so I'm asking you to just take it down a little bit because you're the only one raising his voice.
Well, can you warn the people that are talking over him then, if you're going to be a moderator?
All right, let's make sure that we give each other space, everyone, please.
Thank you. What you are trying to claim, and what Gumibear is pointing out, and rightly he won't say it, but I don't care. You're trying to claim that the Earth is flat, and this is what this proves. But you're too scared to actually make that statement because you know it doesn't. Because the questions I started asking, such as the collimation of the laser, you have no answer for. And it's pretty freaking apparent, and it's really pathetic.
Okay, great. So I don't see the need to understand why the collimation is. My point was, I wonder if I'll be able to see this light at all, and I did. I wasn't really concerned with the collimation. So why is that significant to you?
Right. At that point, you've proved nothing. You've shown evidence for nothing.
No, I proved that I could see a light. My question, though, remains because you brought up the collimation. My question to you is, in your opinion, what is the significance of bringing up the collimation? What does that even mean? Why would that be significant in this discussion?
Because you're not looking at a pinpoint of light. You are looking at a wide cone.
Okay, so great.
The whole
Hold
reason
on,
why.
Gummy, hold on.
Go ahead.
So again, so how would I know that I'm not actually seeing the source of my laser? How would you go about demonstrating that? Or I mean, like, again, I would say I don't even care about that, but you seem to be making a big deal about it. So when I turn the laser off and I can't see it, and I turn the laser on and I can see it, am I not seeing the source?
No.
Well, okay, so what does that mean? Why am I not seeing the source?
Because you never see the source of anything. You only see the light that has traveled to your eyes. That's the way light works. Come on, Travis.
Okay. No. Okay, so when you're telling me that if I see a car in front of me, I'm not seeing the car, I'm seeing this hologram coming at me as light? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying you're seeing the reflected light from the car. You're not seeing the car.
I'm not seeing the car.
Oh.
Okay. All right. You have fun there.
The big problem that I would say is that because you're not controlling for the variable of the collimation of light, which is just one of several variables you're not controlling for, you can make very few statements about that. You can kind of just say,
statement, he can see the
light.
That's a good statement. Yeah.
Is that really a good statement when that's all you can gather from it?
Yeah, you can make that statement.
Have fun
if
with
he can
that.
see the light, he can see the light. I mean,
I can see the light. That's a great statement. I can see the light, and that's all.
Are you insinuating, Gummy, that he shouldn't see the light? Are you insinuating that?
No, I am insinuating that there was no reason to doubt seeing the light.
He never doubted seeing the light. He just went there, and he saw the light.
Now he can claim that he saw the light, and we're all so much smarter for it, right? Because he can see the light.
Yeah,
and that's all we know.
Not enough for you, right? That's not enough for you.
Because just saying we can see the light, just saying we can see the light has very little information to it.
Are you guys
doesn't really get us further in anything.
Are you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
I apologize, gentlemen. Thank you for letting me squeeze in. Are you guys singing Christian songs in here? Because you keep saying I saw the light.
That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the light. I'm not an authority on that song, but I just, Continue.
I was actually just thinking of I Saw the Sign, but that's not the same song.
And even if it's a column of light, when you look at the laser, you only see that part that is a line of sight. So that that there is a column, you jump in side view mode and say there is a column, so you can't see the laser.
Okay,
right?
So even if we were to grant you something like that, what are you saying? Are you saying this proves something then?
That you have line of sight towards the laser.
Okay. So you think this proves you have line of sight to the laser?
Yes.
I know it does.
You know it does. Okay. That's another bold statement.
Why is that a bold statement?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a truck directly in front of me, Gummy. Do I not have a line of sight to that truck right now?
Most likely, yeah.
Okay, so if I stop and that truck keeps going and going and going and going, is it always in my line of sight as long as I can see it?
Not necessarily.
Oh, really? Okay. That seems like it's your issue now. Okay.
Yeah, can you give us anything, Gummy, please give us something, what you're actually saying, right? Because all Travis is saying, he can see the light. He's seen the light, right? I don't doubt that Travis does. It doesn't sound you do either, right? You admit that Travis should and did see the light.
Yeah, that's not.
Give us exactly what your point is that you're trying to make here now.
My point is that if you want to make any more claims than just he saw a light, then you need to have controlled variables be a part of it. And you didn't have that part, and therefore that's all you can say. You saw a light, which doesn't get us any further intellectually in any debate. All it says is he saw a light.
We found out that you got triggered by Travis seeing a light, and you started bringing all sorts of things up. I mean, that's what we learned from it, or I learned from it anyway.
Well, then that's fun for you. But the part that was that was interesting, or that got me speaking, is that it wasn't just that you saw a light. You were slightly and shadily implying that means something without saying the words. That's why I spoke up.
Isn't that your interpretation of what somebody says, not exactly what they say?
Sure. Everything that I hear will go through my interpretation, so that's correct. It's not necessarily what they intended or what they said or thought or any of that, of course.
So you're building an opinion here, yeah?
On your interpretation of what somebody said.
Is your opinion.
Yeah.
And when asked for clarity on what they were saying, they were unwilling or unable to provide it.
Okay, let me just jump in here real quick, because the reason why I came in was because Kool-Aid, you started talking about lasers and collimation and whatnot, and it seemed to me that my comment would have some, weight to the discussion. So I just basically added what I saw. So I was just responding to Kool-Aid. I wouldn't have brought it up. I didn't even think about it until he started talking about lasers.
Could it be that when he said 9 miles, you thought of a certain something in your head that made you question that?
Only that you are to say anything.
Only that I did do the observation at 9 miles. Yeah, whatever.
Not you, Travis. Them.
92.7.
Oh.
92.7 a.m. They're doing an announcement. Some lady. You guys should listen. We can't talk about it right here, but it's on the radio, the live radio right now. 92.7.
Wouldn't I have to be within your range of that?
I'm saying this lady's making a really good speech on the radio. You guys should listen. I mean, on the live,
Speaking of listening,
that got to do with the conversation here? Nothing.
Can we get an unmute for Moyak? He's been muted for.
No, this conversation she's reading about is way better than your conversation. Trust me.
I think his penalty is 30 minutes. So that's usually what happens with the warnings. They're 30 minutes long. So he just needs to make sure he doesn't mock anyone in his Moyaki way.
Did you just mock Moyok?
Yeah.
No, I just said in his Moyaki way, the way he does. That's all I was saying.
Well, that's implying that he is a person who constantly mocks people.
Oh my god.
You're implying his character to be one of mocking people.
Okay, listen. Hold on. No.
I'm messing with you. Calm down.
Okay.
It's hard to tell, though, isn't it? Some
It
people
can be,
actually
yeah.
do that, yeah.
No, yeah, definitely it is. I don't put it past people to be actually upset about something like that. But yeah, I am just kidding.
Playing games here.
Mm-hmm.
Having fun playing laser tag.
So we have to interpret what you're saying then?
Sure.
Right.
Is that why we end up with circular arguments? Because people are just imagining what other people are saying and arguing against that imagination, and then the other person's arguing against an imagination of what that other person's imagining they're imagining. And it just
this would be more a matter of the
imaginations.
problem of straw men, not of circular logic.
What I'm looking for is to find honest people. That's what I'm looking for. But obviously, if people are just bullshitting and
What are you doing looking for honest people in a flat Earth server?
This isn't a flat Earth
What?
server,
Is that? I was going to say, is that what it is?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realise you were. Are you a flat earther? I'm sorry, I didn't realise. We don't want to be upsetting you.
We don't want to be interpreting what you say wrongly.
Yeah, I know I'm not a flat earther. So if this is a flat earther, a server, then you must be a flat earther, right?
So it is a flat Earth server on the basis that the owner and all of the moderation all believe in a flat Earth or a very adjacent kind of thing where maybe they don't want to say flat Earth, but at least non-spherical.
Listen, can you say we believe there's no ball? There's no sphere.
No, because that's the same as flat Earth.
No. Well, say it that way then. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to say the truth, Lori.
Lori?
I was just watching on YouTube and I heard this was a flat Earth server, so I figured I'd come hang out.
Yeah, welcome.
It is. Some people don't refer to themselves as flat earther just because of the idea of, mountains and shit, and people are retarded. So
it not being flat is a good reason.
Well, I mean, it's got topography. It's basically like a sandbox, not basically flat. So it's sandbox Earth. You can put it that way.
Which is why I've given y'all the name of Flirt. F-L-E-R-T. Flat level Earth realm with topology.
I call it my sandbox. Because
you're naming people. You're putting people, finding people a nice little group to put them in, are you?
Yep. I needed a new abbreviation I could use in chat because some words seem to be restricted while Globehead Retards is perfectly legal to type in the chat.
Wow, you type that in often, do you?
Kool-Aid.
No, but I've been called that enough times.
People are individuals? Do you think you should judge somebody on their individual characteristics or as a group?
Both.
Yeah. And I would say
but if they say they don't belong to that group, you are still lumping them in that group. It's very disingenuous of you.
Okay.
Do you know why we have group?
Let's cut the bullshit. What shape is the Earth?
Who cares?
All sorts of shapes.
Hang on. He asked me what shape is the Earth. Hang on. I don't believe that Earth needs a shape. You're welcome.
So we have a 3D object without a shape?
We can measure all the elevation changes.
Object? What's that object?
We can measure him. We can measure him.
So it's clearly physical because we're standing on it. We're not falling through it.
Yes.
Hold on. Yeah, Bev. No, yeah, it has been measured first order.
You're right, and it's been measured to be an oblate spheroid. But you guys reject those measurements or disapprove them,
Where's that
or
measurement?
Which one would you like?
Yeah, which measurements have you got?
The one you just said was measured.
Yeah, the oblate.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, Kool-Aid, can you provide the oblate measurements, please?
The transatlantic arc of the parallel compared with the transatlantic
Sounds
arc
like
of
you're
India.
describing something. Do you have any original source documents that show their measurements, please?
You want me to? Sure, I can link mctune.net.
Oh, come on. Not MacToon.
Okay, just let the crickets go.
You didn't hear the double speak out of McToon the other day? Come on, man. We don't
wait.
talk
Hold
about McToon here.
Hold on. For laughing and mocking, that's a 30-minute timeout, right?
What, for you saying that you would cite McToon?
Say funny
Yeah,
things
nobody
and then
mocked.
not expect us to
Nobody
laugh.
mocked.
You said funny. You said something really funny.
And then you guys decided to mock, and because I'm a Glober, you're
I
more
didn't
than
mock.
welcome to mock me. But if a
Well, I think
Glober
citing
even
McToon gives you like a
chuckles,
15-minute ban, yeah?
Yeah, citing McToon should be an automatic ban.
See, Bev
Right.
said something funny, and we laughed at him as well. So
because this
don't
isn't
get
a
butthurt
flirt.
about
This
being
isn't a
did you
flat
laugh?
earth server.
Did you laugh
Do you
at
need a safe
him,
space?
or
We
did
got
you-
one over here on the
Did
side.
you laugh at him, or did you laugh at what he said?
No,
Because
it
it was a
both
bit different when
both the
Kool-Aid was
same.
speaking.
I mean,
Yeah.
Kool-Aid
I
was saying
laughed
about citing McTune,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
what I
funny.
laughed at. Yeah, hilarious.
I mean, he has the documents on his webpage. What's the problem?
Seems rather toxic.
Well, let me show you this Alex Jones source that I have. He's got all the documents.
Do you know where McToon got all of his sources from?
Alex Jones?
Yeah, Cosmo give him all of the level ones, all of those definitions that have little highlighted bits where it says curvature. That's Cosmonaut, the troll.
Oh,
That's where he got all of those sources from. So I mean, where does he get all the rest of his sources from?
This one is linked back to the NOAA library.
Mm-hmm.
.gov/docs.
Go on. What's it say?
It's the transatlantic arc of the transatlantic arc of the trilateration of the American arc of the parallel.
Are you gonna post it?
Yep, there you go.
Trilateration. What's that? That's
Transcontinental triangulation of the American arc of the parallel.
Trilateration is 3 straight lines. It's a triangle, right?
Oh my god.
It is though, isn't it?
So,
I mean, don't say "oh my god." Just confirm. Trilateration is 3 straight lines, right?
This isn't talking about trilateration now.
Oh,
right.
Is that not what I was
wrong.
Said?
I was wrong when I said the word.
You said the
when
wrong
I said the
words.
name.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I stumbled over my words and I said the wrong words, I said the wrong words.
Okay.
The name of it.
What did you mean then?
What is the word?
What did you mean then? Triangulation.
If I'm allowed to finish.
Maybe we should let's fix the word.
No, okay.
Come on, guys.
Go ahead. You guys talk.
It said triangulation.
Okay. Are we gonna let people speak, or are we gonna have mods over speaking people?
Go on, off you go.
Let him finish his sentence. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Transcontinental triangulation and the American arc of the parallel.
Okay. A couple of problems there. Triangulation. Triangles have 3 straight lines and 3 angles adding up to 180 degrees. And you've also got the word parallel. Parallels only exist in Euclidean geometry, which is the place where we get triangles with 3 straight lines.
I mean, you can argue what the name of the document is.
Mm-hmm.
You can argue what's in it, but at the end of the day, I don't care because they're getting accurate distances and you're afraid to say what you think.
Do you know where the arc bit comes from?
Does it matter?
Well, it's all straight lines and triangles. So, do you know where the arc comes from?
Might be from the spherical excess that was measured.
From when they look at the lights in the sky. Did you not know that?
And they measure the spherical excess?
There's no such thing as spherical excess, is there?
There's not?
Seems to be.
Spherical access.
Yeah.
Not access, excess.
So you're saying that they measure triangles? Well, with what? Go on. I can't say it. Sounds ridiculous.
Spherical excess.
Spherical access.
So have you ever heard of something called a parallel curve? Curve being parallel? Have you ever heard of that?
Nah.
It's insane, right?
Yeah, parallel straight lines. That's the only definition I've ever heard of parallel. Straight lines.
Really? That's the only one you heard? I thought you heard a lot of them been described to you many times.
I call the other one concentric circles, but I mean, what would you call it?
Yeah.
So
circles.
If I'm driving, sorry, DP, I didn't mean to talk over you. Go ahead.
That's all right. I'm just saying that circles share a center that makes them of the same, center orientated.
So what about this curve? The curve that I posted in chat.
Can I finish? Hello.
No.
They're not parallel. Circles are sharing the same center, centric. They're not parallel.
Okay. Well, what about a curve like I posted in chat? That's not circles.
No, but curves share the same center, don't they?
Do they?
The point of the radius of the curve has to be the same for the curves to share the same arc.
No. Wouldn't be true.
Really?
Are you guys building a video game? Why are we talking about 2D shapes?
No, we're just talking about geometry and the words we use.
It's
yeah, they're not using the same word. They're using different words. I don't think definitions are in line here.
What about this one?
Sounds like to me.
Those aren't circles. Those are square circles, squircles.
Square circles.
Squircles.
They're squircles. Yeah. So how do we call that? Because they're locally parallel. So like how do we deal with that?
Are they circles?
No way. Why are you?
No, they're
talking
not.
About
they're
that?
not circles.
I'm just saying.
And yet they appear to be parallel. How can that happen?
They appear to be.
Is this supposed to demonstrate like a bird's eye view or something of the ball?
No, this is to demonstrate that when you guys say parallel and straight lines and all of these words, there is more to it than just parallel straight lines.
More to it than the way they're defined. Yeah. There's more to it than the way they're defined within geometry.
There's more to it than.
So you're redefining. Are you redefining geometry here?
No. So there's more to it than the way you. Are you gonna let me finish speaking?
I'm just clarifying what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do.
Because it sounds to me like you're trying to redefine geometry.
No, I'm trying to show to you that there are more than the definitions you're trying to propose.
So you are trying
once you're proposing, the ones you're proposing aren't the end all be all of geometry.
It's the way it's defined. It's the way it's defined. So you are trying to redefine what has already been defined within geometry. Well done,
you are trying to say that your definition is the end all be all. I am clearly showing you. I am clearly showing you that that is not correct.
You're not clearly showing anything. You're just posting squircles.
Yeah. Yes.
So in your mind, there's actually, Gummy, in your mind, there's actually a square and a circle combined called a squircle.
That's more just a funny name you call something that's kind of in between a square and a circle. It's neither. I'm not saying that they're the combination of both. It's essentially a square with rounded corners.
But it's not a square, though. We cannot call it a square, right?
You can't call it a square, and you can't call it a circle. So I funnily call it squircle because it's kind of in between the two.
Can I ask a question, please?
Go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, Gummy. When you said you call it, do you mean I call it, or that's what you call it? Because you said you call it, so therefore it's not you. You're putting it onto the other person. As far as I'm concerned, so you're saying I call it a squircle, or do you call it a squircle?
I called it a squircle.
So why did you say you call it a squircle then? Why didn't you say I call it a squircle?
Stop up.
Did I say
the audience? Because the audience listening will say that everybody else in the room will be calling it a squircle, whereas just you are calling it a squircle.
Did I say that you guys are calling this a squircle?
You said you call it a squircle.
No, I said you can call it a squircle.
No, you said you call it a squircle.
You guys are fun.
This is brilliant.
I love splitting hairs. That's why I'm enjoying this.
I really don't think I said you call it squircle, but if I did, then I misspoke.
Okay, because the definition is in the detail, isn't it?
Sure.
Lovely.
Which is why I'm pointing out that the definitions you guys throw out aren't always the end-all be-all.
It's always been defined.
Well, yesterday we had logos being redefined. Now, today we have a squircle, both a square and a circle. This is just amazing.
It's not both a square and a circle. I've explained to you it's neither square or a circle. It is a bit in between.
A squircle.
Yes, that is what I called it. But
this
that's
is
not
great. We can add that to the new lexicon, a squircle. Today we have a new word. That's
Squircle
amazing.
access. I mean,
yeah.
So I clearly didn't make this term up more myself when it has its own Wikipedia page about the squircle.
But there's actually a Wikipedia page on the squircle?
Yes, and the definition is a squircle is a shape intermediate between a square and a circle.
I'm behind
Isn't
the
that
times.
how you make a Wikipedia page? You just some person just gets on Wikipedia and writes it in, and then presses save, and it's a Wikipedia page. Right?
No.
Let me ask you this: Does a squircle have any? Does a squircle have any vertices?
Vertices? No.
Well, by definition, anything like taking the shape of angles has to have a vertice. So I don't think it could fall into the category of a square due to this fact alone.
Yeah, that's why we don't call it a square. And it's also
call
not
it a square.
Yes, I have not called it a square.
Well,
I'm going to look up a square
you can't even halfway imply it.
You can't halfway imply it? What are you basing that on?
Because you made this squircle like with the SQU, implying that there's like some form of a square within it. Like
I wasn't the one who made this term up.
I'm not saying you were. I'm just saying.
Well, then why'd you say you?
Inaccurate.
Why'd you say you then?
Because you brought it up. You invoked it, and I'm shooting you down, bud.
Yeah, but you didn't say you said. You said you made, as if I made the term up.
Don't take offense. I'm just having conversation.
The devil's in the detail. I'm just being specific about it. Okay.
It's okay, man. Did make it all friends here. It just happens to be there that somebody else had also made it because it is a made-up thing. It's not a real thing.
I did not make it up personally. No,
you just did before, or did you already know about it?
He's just using it.
The reason I know the term is because I've seen it before. I didn't suddenly make it up in my mind earlier.
You saw it in Wiki?
Well, we made it up.
I'm so disappointed now. I thought you were so clever and witty, Gummy.
I know, I did too. I thought it was his. He was talking about a square and a circle, and he called it a squircle. I was like, hey, that's cool. He made up that word. Now he's saying he's seen it before. It's in Wiki. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not that smart. I'm not that.
I agree.
I don't have that good of an imagination.
I thought it was pretty cool, but it's very alluring the fact that, like I said, man, you can't even call it like humoristically call it that without being like intelligible, because like I said, there's no vertices involved within it, so it's kind of quite stupid, honestly. Like when you really think about it.
Well, I have to say my favorite is the turv.
Yeah, the turv.
Yeah. Turv is my favorite.
It's a curved tangent if nobody knew what it was.
Yeah, that was straight
Scott
from
Veach.
Scott Veach. Yeah.
Now, he definitely did make that one up. But there might be a Wikipedia page for it by now. You never know.
Have a look, Gummy. Turv. Have a look for turv on Wikipedia.
I got to stick up for Gummy. I can't believe my eyes. There is such a thing in Wikipedia called the squircle.
Turf. I looked it up when he said it because I knew I was laughing. And it's
I'm not surprised.
Turf.
they got wave in the dictionary as being a fucking noun.
It's based on a super ellipse. It's a shape between a circle and a square. Unfreaking believable.
Yeah. There's a ton of contradictions within the dictionary, man, and nobody seems to want to address it or make any changes, all due to the fact that it's supporting their bullshit conceptual model.
It's a popular consensus. That's all a dictionary is. It's a popular consensus of what the words that get used. And more people that say it, the more it'll get put into dictionaries, because that's what people say. And a lot of people make shit up and then can't be wrong. So they just change the words in the dictionary.
That's not right, man. When this is supposed to be our resource to point to and base ourselves upon, we can't like have a general rule of thumb of majority rules. You know what I'm saying? Things are defined as such by such because of the properties and attributes and the explanation behind it. You can't just go inverting that because you got 100 people shouting falsehoods. That's just not fucking right, man.
But is language defined? Is language defined for people or by people?
You forgot about Russellisms, right? Everybody is now their own boss. Everything's relative to them, so they can make up their own definitions of it. So, like, it's not popular consensus. It's each individual can make up their own definitions of whatever they want now, and that's the way it's gone.
Yeah. Well, we cannot allow linguistics to be demolished in this way. I mean, this is going to just send humanity spiraling into chaos. Like, we have to be able to hold fast to the words we use and define them as such based on the logic.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah, and Gummy, let me just say one thing. Based on your resource, you see how I backed you up? Your own resource, though, says that it's neither a square or a circle. So you can't say it's a square, bro.
I haven't. How many times do I have to say that? I never called it a square. I never called it a circle. I called it a squircle.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. We're good. We're good. We're gonna get that clear. All right.
And that was a stupid word. I thought it was cute at first, but come to find out, it was very stupid, and I'm upset you're doing that.
I am sorry that I brought a new word into your knowledge.
Gummy.
Well, if it had value, if there was substance, if there was logic asserted upon this word, I would be thanking you. But this is just adding more bullshit to the table that we don't need.
It just tells you two things that it's not. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
That's brilliant. The moment you can do that, it's like not just not one thing, it's not something else as well. I mean,
it's not two things.
You
exactly.
Realize that's not stupid.
That's brilliant. Isn't it?
It's actually not a triangle either.
Yeah.
So it's a squircle.
Exactly. It's not two things, bro. This is what it is. It's not two things. It's astonishing.
Well, we know what it isn't. So what is it?
Well, we know two things that it isn't.
How did we get?
Bro, this
to
reminds
this
me of you ever see Hot Dog, Not a Hot Dog? This guy for like Silicon Valley makes this like $1 billion app, and it like identifies food, and they're like, "Oh my god, you just point it at food and it tells you what it is." He's like, "Yeah, but it can only tell you if it's a hot dog or not a hot dog." So he takes a picture of pizza and it goes, "Not a hot dog." He's like, "What?"
People will buy it though, right? I bet he did really well.
Oh yeah,
it
was like $1 million seller.
Hey this guys, is where we're at. Go on, spot on. Is it? This is where we're at now. We're defining things. There's a conversation about things that are defined, but then you can define something by what it's not. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I mean, that's Russellism. That's as ridiculous as non-Euclidean geometry. But I mean, everybody's got used to it. Defining as something that it isn't. Become normal.
Well, it's not. You're not defining it as something it just isn't. You're defining it because it's got attributes of two things, but it's neither of those two things. Like, for example, the word smog. It is neither smoke or fog. It's smog. Okay. It's a combination of both.
So what is the commonality that it has with a square?
Well,
the defining characteristics of a square. What does it have in common with that, please?
A spherical square?
No, we'll start with the square. Oh, wait, start with the circle, right? What is there that has a commonality with a circle?
That it's circular.
And what's a circle? A circular mean?
Means that it has the same radius to the center.
Right, and this new shape has a same radius, does it?
No.
Oh, so but it's not that. It's not the radius that it has common
not,
with the
not
circle.
all over.
What,
not
what
all
is
over, because that. So parts of it will look like it's got the radius of a circle, while other parts will look like it's got the radius of a square.
The radius of a square?
Yes.
Wow.
Did you just say the radius of a square?
He did, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gummy, take a break, dude. As Rakia would say, maybe you want to take a mulligan on that one?
Take a break, Gummy.
Talk about redefining geometry.
Hold on. So, do you know what
is incredible? When you research squircles, guys, be careful.
I'm throwing in the towel, man. I'm throwing in the towel for Gumibear. He's too much damage.
Whoop, whoop.
So, do you know what? Do you know what radius is defined as in geometry?
I got it. I thought about this. I got the answer. It's a circle.
No, hold on.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
What is the definition of a radius in geometry?
It's the circle, isn't it? It's the bit from the center to the circumference of a circle.
No, it is a line segment from the center to the perimeter.
Yeah, to the circumference. That's exactly what I just said.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay. So
he's making it from any shape.
Yeah. So why did you say shapes. No? Oh,
he's
perimeter.
From the center of any shape.
Yeah.
So a square, an oval.
That's why I said circumference. You see.
So why, if you can't talk about radius on anything other than a circle, then why on the Wikipedia article of radius is there a section about regular polygons? And I want to say, square is a regular polygon, by the way, just so you know. It's almost like these words have a deeper meaning in geometry than you guys get.
It's almost like someone like you has gone and wrote it there because they want to win an argument for a radius of a square. Because it's
I'll explain how it falls apart.
What about the radius of a hypercube? Because that's also part of this.
Buster was coming in here. Give Buster some space. He's not spoken yet, so please, Buster.
That wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you.
Oh,
sorry. Go on.
What's the root? What's the root word of radius? Isn't it radiant? And isn't it radiant an arc? So by definition, to have a radius, by definition, to have a radius, you have to have an arc. And if you don't have an arc within your vectors or your tangents or whatever you've got that you're analyzing, then you don't have a radius.
Hey, Gummy, I got 2 questions for you. One, with a square, a regular square with a side length of 1 unit, what's the radius?
It'll follow a formula. It's not a constant radius.
No, well, there you go. So your radius is an infinite amount of radius options then, isn't it?
No, not infinite.
Yeah.
Each point on the perimeter will have a radius.
Yeah, there's infinite points of the perimeter.
Yes, of course, but there's not an infinite amount of different values that it can obtain.
Yes,
for
there
a
is.
given square. No.
Yes, there is. You can bisect a line as many times as you want, creating new points between your points. But anyways, you understand that your radius of a square would be 0.5 on a square going perpendicular to one of the faces from the center, but it would be it'd be half of square root of 2 to the corner of the square?
Yes.
There you go. So which one is the radius?
And that would be if you
That's why we
have
only
a
use this
unit
word
square.
in circles.
Okay, so with
the
unit
definition
square,
of radius requires a circle or
arbitrary.
Circle or sphere, does it not?
No, it does not.
Then why does every source I look at say that?
Right. Do you guys not realize yet you're arguing with somebody who's just going to make shit up?
Well, I want him to answer this question.
No.
He can't.
You're right.
Yeah, I can't because I get interrupted before I'm allowed to say anything.
Okay, so that's just that's not even an argument. So go ahead. I'm waiting.
What was the question?
Yeah, what was the question? See, you're just wasting time, man.
Well, I keep getting interrupted. What am I supposed
Dude, no
to
one's
do?
talking. Just not you.
Well, I got interrupted right as you asked the question, so it's.
Why do all the definitions that I look up regarding radius require a circle or a sphere?
Because you're not looking deep enough.
I see lots of websites saying radius of a square. I mean, I'm not sure what you're talking about. It seems like it's a legit mathematical function.
Radius of a square. I've heard it all now.
Well, there's lots of stuff out there on it.
And you wonder why we're arguing all day. It's because we're literally talking to crazy people.
It's because you don't like definitions in geometry.
If we're going to talk about the radius of a square, then you might as well tell us the color of it as well.
Well, why is there so many sites, science sites and math sites that cite the topic of radius of a square?
What is a root word of a radius?
I don't care what the root word is. It seems like there's a lot of sites that have this mathematical function.
You should understand.
So there seems to be a legitimate.
You should understand the word to use, man. You can't just throw words out there, dude, and assuming they're being used as such. Like, should be understood on the words you're using.
All I can tell you is there's a lot of mathematical sites that seem to deal with this topic. So why do you disagree with those mathematical sites?
If I had to guess, Dieslow, I'd probably say ray, meaning line or something like a ray, and dias being related to like disc. So a disc line.
And also, squares and circles are geometric shapes. So why are you looking at mathematical sites and not geometric sites?
This is
geometry is a discipline of math.
Yeah, but you're getting the definitions for geometry from your math sites. Why don't you go to geometry sites and see?
If geometry is a subset of math,
no,
then something
doesn't apply. Why are you looking at math?
Who said geometry is not a subset of math?
I said that more people will back me up on that.
Okay, so geometry is not a subset of math?
Why are you looking at math sites to get geometric definitions?
Because geometry is a subset of math.
It is.
Why don't you look at geometry sites to get geometric definitions?
Hold on. Can we explore this a little bit?
It's like trying to find out how to fix your car and going to a cooking website.
Hold on, DP. Can we explore the geometry is not a subset of math a little bit?
Yes, please.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
You just got to reverse it.
No, That's not what we're doing. We're not changing subjects just because you want to go into a philosophical idea of an argument that can go round in circles. Because geometry is geometry, right? If you're looking for geometrical reasons of things and definitions, you look in geometry.
We live in a three-dimensional world. We use your two-dimensional geometry just as a basic beginning stage to understand the shape and nature of our world.
And you think you guys disagreeing with definitions is not circular?
No, listen, no. We're pointing out the fact that in your world, you guys have to flip reality, just like fictitious forces and real forces. Okay, so I think, I could be wrong, that math is rather a subset of geometry. Because geometry...
Could you please tell me what the purpose of squaring a circle is, or so what the radius of a square is?
The radius of a square.
I have no idea what it's for.
You want to finish your sentence, Travis? Hang on. Moyork man spoke all over Travis there, so Travis, please finish the end of your sentence.
That's basically it. I was just going to flip the order. I would put geometry first, math second.
I didn't speak over anybody from my end. I don't know me stop speaking.
Me too, Travis.
Okay. Now, when it comes to one of the important ways that you would use something like this is when you're talking about a polar coordinate system, where you're defining positions based on their radius and angle to the origin. So if you wanted to draw up a square within a polar coordinate system, then you'd need to be able to define the radius of a square.
So your model is dictating, yeah? That's what you're saying.
No, it's not
that
your
model dictates this must happen.
Within mathematics, there is such a thing as a polar coordinate system, and which uses a radial coordinate, a radial distance
of a square.
And
yes, do you have to talk over him, or do you get muted too?
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering. Square. Make sure everybody understands. Talking about a square now.
Yes, you can define a square within a polar coordinate system using the radius of a square, which will be a function of the angle.
I just want to say that squares only exist two-dimensionally and don't have anything pertaining to a pole. Pole is a three-dimensional inverse of its endpoints, but this could only exist three-dimensionally. So your square is not accurate enough. Maybe if you want to go to the cube, but I'm not going to accept the square in three-dimensional.
But we're not talking about you holding something in front of you. We're talking about math, which doesn't always need to be concepts
we use to define three-dimensional reality, but you're stuck in two
logical concepts.
Trying to uphold your three-dimensional understanding with two-dimensional introduction concepts of geometry.
Sure, if you want to call it that. The thing is that it is accurate. It is accurate from page to reality. That's the important part.
Your two-dimensional square is an introduction into three-dimensional geometry, bud. And you've used this as your understanding. You haven't gone far enough.
There are squares. Solid geometry, three-dimensional geometries in book 11. That is Euclidean, definitely. That's three-dimensional geometry. It exists in reality. There is a geometry of reality. But I'm just checking. It's your man here that, right? Are you talking about two-dimensional geometry?
Can you hand me a square?
No, I'm not. Who's that?
Do you have a square you can give me? I need an extra one.
Dieslow, I'm not talking to you. I want to have a word with who was it? Kool-Aid.
It was probably me, Gumibear.
Okay, right. Is it you that's talking about two-dimensional geometry? Because me and Dieslow, we're thinking three-dimensional, right? Are you talking about a two-dimensional geometry, or are you talking about three-dimensional geometry?
So I was talking about polar coordinate system.
Yes, which is that on a two-dimensional geometry?
Let me finish my statement and you'll know. Let me speak to finish and you'll know.
Well, come on then.
So a polar coordinate system is a two-dimensional one However, you can extend it into 3-dimensional, but then it would be called a spherical coordinate system. That it is the equivalent of the 3D version.
Polar geometry could never exist in 2D. This is not accurate.
Okay, well then take it up with the people that invented polar coordinate systems.
The square that you put on that did you put the square on the 2D geometry, or when you made it into the spherical geometry into the 3-dimensional? Which one? Where did you put the square?
I was talking about the 2D one when I was talking about the square. Yes.
So you put a square on your 2-dimensional geometry, right? With your polar coordinates. Yeah. Right. You like Dieslow said, a square's 2-dimensional, so you can only place you could put a square on your 2-dimensional geometry would be within Euclidean space, because that's the only place squares exist.
Yeah, conceptually.
In Euclidean space.
Yeah. Polar coordinate system is still within Euclidean space. It's
abstract.
just using polar coordinates.
No, man, you cannot invoke abstract. You cannot invoke abstract laws upon 3-dimensional reality. It doesn't work that way.
We're not
talking about abstract, toxic. I mean, just constantly interrupting. Abstract. I mean,
it is. He's talking about a fucking square, the pole of a square. There's a pole is 3-dimensional, a square is 2-dimensional.
I think
there's no segue between the two.
So we're still within Euclidean space, and all of these are things within Euclidean space. If you want to complain, then complain to Euclid and his books. But I'm not the one who made any of this up. I am merely relaying information.
Yeah, Euclidean space. Thumbs up from me. 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you do know that there is such a thing as 2D Euclidean space.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you get to book 11, you go into solid geometry, which is 3D.
Yeah,
Euclidean.
It doesn't go there from the beginning because it's very useful to know.
Book 11.
3D. Yeah, book 11. Because you cannot get to 3-dimensional without talking about 2-dimensional and 1-dimensional first.
You have to do all of the proofs that lead up there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So all of the proofs that get you to book 11 are valid, right? They prove squares are only available in Euclidean space, right? They sort of prove the triangle axiom, and that triangles only have 180 degrees. It's fantastic.
So don't go stick in a pole. Don't go stick in your 3-dimensional pole into a 2-dimensional square, because now you're talking Narnia talk.
When you hear the word pole, what do you think? Because I don't think we were using it.
I think opposing ends.
Oh well, no. Then that's not the same way you use the word pole within.
So how are you using it?
As in, how do I word this?
A stick.
A point.
A stick.
We a pole, a point, but it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Is it an axis? Is it?
It's like it's a fixed point of which all your distances is calculated from.
Okay, so it's a single point.
Yes. Usually you would call it the point of origin, so 0, 0,
your axis,
or 0, 0, 0. Yeah.
But there's no measure upon your axis, so this is all 2-dimensional rigmarole.
Well, a pole exists within 3 dimensions as well. It's still a 0, 0, 0. So when you're talking about a sphere, it's saying that the distance from the pole is equal in all directions.
A pole in 3 dimension and 2 dimension are completely different.
Well, no, not within what we're talking about. You can talk about poles as in like North Pole, South Pole, but we're talking about pole as in the coordinate system pole. Words have a bit of different meaning in different contexts, and with the context of coordinate systems, the pole is usually the point of origin, 0, 0.
He's making up his
I understand in your 2D concept.
I'm not making up anything. I'm just relaying.
3D pole doesn't segue completely over to a 2D pole in your understanding. Like these are.
Well, no, it's the same point. You just add on another axis of dimensionality to it to get 3 dimensions. Like, what are you complaining about? I don't quite get it.
Are you confusing a pole with a point, or is that what's going on?
Yeah, he's yeah. He has to have a point of origin to conceive his 2 dimensions, but when he transfers it over to the 3rd dimension, he's like, it's not segueing smoothly from his understanding.
No, it's still the same thing in 3 dimensions. You just have a 3rd axis to work upon. I don't see what your contention is
You've
right
got
now.
your
I don't quite
XY
get it.
grid square coordinates, and then you can add Y to Z to it, right?
Yeah.
It's just Cartesian coordinate system, yeah, with squares
Exactly, yeah.
on the bottom. Yeah. Everything's fine.
Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of confused, because it seems like he has a contention with what I've said, but I don't quite get what the contention is. So I'm just a bit confused.
I don't think there's any contention now. He's like absolutely certain. We live on an XY plane, 2D, that you can then build a Z axis up from and call that like an elevation change. I mean, they're fine. Yeah.
Where elevation is always 0?
Yeah, all perpendiculars to the plane would be parallel. I mean, there's plenty of proofs within Euclidean geometry and the solid geometry. Well, it's one of the first ones.
Couldn't I move it into the 3rd dimension and just keep elevation as 0?
Yeah,
that'd be synonymous with being a plane.
Yeah, the perpendiculars to the plane is the other dimension, right? The plane being the 2D, XY, or length times breadth, as you know, squares type thing. And then the other one is the Z-axis.
Well, I think this all came from mocking the concept of a radius of a square. Have we determined that the radius of a square has value and is a useful mathematical or geometric method of doing things?
Oh, no. That's ridiculous. Squares don't have radiuses.
All right. Well, they do by the definition provided.
You could make a circle with the radius of the corner points of the square. So you could have a radius of the circle within the square and a radius of the circle without the square, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's talking about I'm not sure if it's talking about an inscribed square. I don't really understand this. Still waiting on Gummy and them to kind of explain it further, but it seems to have utility.
Yeah, so essentially,
this idea of a radius of a square it's entirely different. Like it's not a circle. Okay, it's just finding the line from the middle to the corner. Okay, it's not even like what we're trying to say. Like it serves no purpose in this conversation. It's something else entirely.
Diagonal, right?
Literally, all it's saying is that if you're at the center line, the point of origin, the radius of the square would be how far in each direction I have to move.
If we're being distinct, though, that's not the radius. That's just a way of describing it.
Well,
so
within
it deserves to have a different term, but for some reason, you guys have adopted radius. It doesn't fit, though.
Is there a way to measure this point of origin?
Within geometry, this is a valid way of using the word radius.
Well, that's great, but it serves an entirely different definition. And it doesn't even...
Like the perimeter and circumference are different. Those are 2 different things.
Well, the circumference would be the distance around the perimeter of a 2D sub.
No.
Yeah,
see, that's why they have 2 words, because circumference is the quote-unquote perimeter of a circle, which is unique because of the radius, and then you have the perimeter of every other object. So the circle is the circumference, every other object, perimeter.
Are you sure circumference is only for circles?
Yep, that's true. That.
Yeah.
You got to look at the root words, man.
Absolutely sure, dude. Well, because that's the whole point, is because the perimeter, you just can measure distances from the point, but the circle, it's a uniform.
I don't know where.
Okay, yeah, and ellipses.
Pretty simple.
I don't know why like this certain sect of understanding tries to like redefine reality in its own perception. Like it has to be uniform with the rest of reality. You can't have a radius that's not a circle or a sphere. So like to use the term is kind of it's a misplacement of the definition.
Is there a calculable measure upon your point of origin within your 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional nexus, or what you would call your pole or axis? Or is this just conceived as such? Like, is there a way to measure this point of origin, or is this all inclusive? Like, how do you differentiate that?
Well, the point of origin is just a defined point. You define that point the same way that
I understand.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is does this point have measure to itself? Like, are you including that?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. It's a 0-dimensional point.
Okay, so it's an abstract conception that we use to kind of as a rule of thumb to measure, but it doesn't have necessarily a Cartesian locus.
Well, once you place it, it has location.
Well, by your standard, all of Euclidean space is a concept. So yes, of course, the point of origin is also a concept because it's within the concept of Euclidean space.
Euclidean space is not a concept.
Well, then you'd have to take that up with Dieslow.
Is it empirical?
Euclidean 3D space is, yeah. That's what we are living in. What the fuck?
I don't know. I never met Euclid.
No.
I've never seen space.
No one did. No one. You are not alone with that, by the way.
Sorry, empirical is inductive. Geometry is deductive.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the one who's disagreeing here. I feel like it's Dieslow and everyone else disagreeing.
What is your point then? What was it that you were trying to get across to us? That we all live in Euclidean 3-dimensional space. We have an XY coordinate system with Z being the other dimension, right? So a 2-dimensional square grid on the floor where squares fit, and elevation measured on the other axis, right? That is literally 3-dimensional Euclidean space.
For the last bit here, I've been defending Euclidean space from Dieslow because he's been complaining about it being a concept and all.
Okay. But you do agree that we live in Euclidean space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. We're one of the first, Gummy. Thank you.
I slightly disagree with that. We live in reality, and Euclidean geometry backs that up.
So does spherical geometry, though.
No, it doesn't. Oh, Gumibear, can I just say something to you, please?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I come out with the devil's in the detail, and you copied that. Can you please find something else to say? Because, that's my saying, so therefore I think, you shouldn't copy my saying because I'm a stick of shit.
Do you have a right to that claim? Do you have a patent or copyright?
I asked you.
Trademark?
Did I tell you? I asked you, didn't I?
Yeah. I only used it that once just to
Just to mock him.
Be a bit quirky.
Just to mock him, yeah.
How old are you?
That's all you can do is mock.
How?
Who are you asking, Mark?
The devil in the details guy.
Hello there, yes.
How old are you?
Will that affect anything in your life?
Yes.
Well, that is on you then.
It doesn't even have to be, exact. I'm just, how many decades old are you?
30s, 40s.
Okay, if he's in the 30s, well, the devil's in the details.
What's this got to do with anything,
Well, that's what I'm
Zanuck?
trying to get to.
What has this got to do with anything?
The devil's in the
Zanuck?
detail has.
Zanuck, just leave it.
No,
I'm
Carry
not trying
on.
to.
It'll make him
I
feel
actually learned who
better.
you're talking to.
No, it'll make him feel better. Let him carry on.
And why are you calling him Zanuck?
Because he is Zanuck.
Oh, okay. I don't sound anything like Zanuck.
Okay, apparently you're Zanuck.
Of course.
Kind of do.
That's a little bit of pareidolia there.
No, there's a little Zanuck in your voice there, but I know
There is a
you're
little, but not a lot at all.
We all know you're Zanuck on a soccer account, Whack Man. So let's drop the pretense.
Okay, cool. So Devil's in the Detail predates you if you're only 30 something.
I am the first one that said this in this arena, aren't I? So it doesn't matter.
It predates you a long time, though.
Yep, but I brought this to this arena.
Well, do you think that it's the first time it's been used in this server?
I don't know if it's the first time. I can think a lot of things, but I don't know. Do you think it's the first time it's been brought in this arena?
No,
or
I
do you
don't
know
think
it's the first time?
I don't know whether it is, but I don't think so. But it very well could be. I just don't think it is.
Right, either you think it is or you know it is. Because I said I don't think it is, and I don't know it is. But you say you
I don't know it is.
Therefore, you've got some precognitive reasoning to say that it might have been. So if you don't think it has, you might have thought somebody said it before. Is that true or not?
I think it is very likely that someone said it before, yes.
So you've just gone back on what you said because you said you thought it might have been said before.
Yes, I think it might have been said before because it is a relatively known idiom.
Yes.
That is very possibly or has possibly been used before you. Yes, I believe that is a possibility, but I don't know whether it has. I think it's very possible.
Yeah.
Talking about the radius of a square, you seem to indicate that it could be anywhere on the square, but it seems like all the definitions I'm finding it's halfway between the vertices of the square. So basically, it's the central point of the square where it meets the vertices.
Who are you talking to now?
It's talking to me probably.
Okay.
Let's see. Like when you're talking about a polar coordinate system, it's definitely the entire perimeter of the square.
Right.
But the only thing I'm thinking is when you're talking about polar coordinate systems, you're talking about the radial distance, not necessarily a radius.
Right.
So I'm not sure about when like a mathematician says the radius of a square, if it's always analogous to the radial distance. So it is very possible that they're only. It's very possible that they're only talking about a specific length from the origin when they say radius. But when it comes to polar coordinates, then it is part of it because it's the radial coordinates, the radial distances.
Yeah, why can't this just be something that's useful to
because it is
figure things out?
Useful. It is useful within geometry and math.
Okay, but it's not. I mean, it's just it's like a trick to figure something out.
It's not useful within the layman's usage, of course.
I mean, it might be depending on your application, but it's not.
Maybe. I don't know of any way that it's useful to the layperson. It is very useful for.
It's just a concept we should have stopped talking about a while ago.
Yes, definitely.
Sounds great.
Well, had people not mocked it, it probably would have died on the vine, but they continued to mock it as saying that it's not.
Well, I just don't know why it was brought up at all.
I don't know that.
It was brought up because of the transcontinental triangulation.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we went all the way from there to freaking here because every word we bring up is complained about. And eventually we got back to radius, and I was the one who said that you can talk about the radius of a square and blah blah
When
blah.
you
And
try
here
to
we
put
are.
when you try to put more than one meaning to a word, then yeah, people's gonna complain about it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
This is a tactic you guys have done like throughout history is pervert the linguistics we use to hide behind these words and just kind of act as if there's nothing to see here and we've got it all figured out, but you see right through that bullshit, man.
Well, the thing is, you guys create your own ideas of the definitions, and then you
No,
want to stick
man.
to that
No,
idea.
no. It came from the root definition, and it was repurposed out of its concept alone. It deserves its own
versus
word.
Connotative, bud. You have the connotative current understanding. We're holding fast to the original denotative understanding because this is what's logically implied and the basis for why it was derived as such. And you guys just carry on with this nonsense to support your phantasms, man. That's all you're doing.
Phantasms?
I mean, if you're being honest, you'll just say that
Fantasy,
the concept
yes,
helps
phantasm.
you understand what the function of your findings is. Like, that's it. Okay, the radius of a square. Well, radius is from the center outward. Okay, so it just helps you understand. It's like a descriptor, but it's not accurate. It deserves its own term.
Well, that's your opinion of it.
Okay,
But we're
well,
not
what came
interested
first?
We're
What
not
came first?
interested in anyone's opinion.
It doesn't work that way, man.
What
It's
came
logic.
first?
It's logically
It
implicative.
doesn't work that way. We don't care about
The
opinions.
second you go against logic, you've fallen into an opinion. We're holding to the logic. You're holding into an abstract conception that fits your narrative. Okay, that's the difference.
Okay.
Logic implies we're holding to it. You understand?
So
We're not going to play the abstract game here.
What are you claiming that logic implies?
You want me to give you an example?
Well, for example, about radius. What are you implying? What are you saying that logic implies about the word radius?
What's the root word of radius? What's the difference between radius and circular? Radial and circular. Like you can't define. You didn't even know the difference between perimeter and circumference. Like it sounds like you need to kind of brush up on these words and not just accept things that are given to you and like actually dive into the understanding of how it came about.
Right.
Yeah. So when I don't know something, I will ask. Like I wasn't sure that was what circumference was, but I would take that down to be because I'm not taught in English. I'm taught in my native language, and so sometimes the translations aren't always that precise. And so I asked to make sure.
Was it discovered in your native language, or was it translated too?
A bit of both.
Well, you might have a little extra work to do then. It's unfortunate.
Well, what about the same for you?
We're here to help you. Oh, it's
okay.
I suffer from the same thing. Like, a lot of this is coming from like Greek and different things like this that were translated.
Exactly.
But at the same point,
we're speaking outside of the radius of your understanding.
Yeah,
I was about to say, Euclid, for example, didn't speak English. He spoke Greek. So yours is also translations. So your criticism is null and void.
No. I'm doing my part in exposing the fact that there's some issues here with how it's being used and being understood, and I'm exposing that to you, and you're willingly just denying it and accepting what you've been understood upon.
No, I'm trying to ask
without
you.
any.
You claimed that these words are logically implied to mean something, and so I asked you, what logical implication do you get for the word radius? And you delved into the fact that I didn't know for sure about the differences between perimeter and circumference, which I say is a language barrier. But the question again is, how are you saying that? How are you getting the logical implication of the word radius? How are you defining radius by logical implications? Please tell me this, because that's what your claim was before we delved into this language bullshit.
Well, you're using the word radius to talk about squares, which sounds like it's not applicable there.
We're not talking about what sounds like anything. You said you had a logical implication of the definition. Please give me that.
I didn't invoke the word. That was you, and I'm just telling you.
But you invoked knowing the logical implications.
I know that
logically get the definition. Please tell me.
I know that there's no radius involved within a square. I can tell you that, man. So here, let's look
can
up
you
radius.
logically tell me how that follows, or are you just going to give me feelings? You made a logical claim how you can imply the definition logically. Either give up and say you can't, or give us the logical implication. Give us the logic that leads to the definition, please.
So here, radius, a straight line from the center to the circumference of a circle or sphere. Where does it say square anywhere within a radius?
I'm not saying read some definition you found. You said you can logically infer the definition.
I just did.
That's not logically infer. You read out a definition. You said you can logically infer the meaning of the word.
Yes.
Yeah, I can just do this. I mean, it's going round in circles. Can I just point out one thing? 2 pi r.
Yeah, I was just about to say that the circumference and diameter and radius are all part of pi, which is the circles, basically like ratios, right? The circumference, the diameter, the radius, those all deal with the circle and its ratios to pi. So when you try and add pi to a square,
are related to the circle. Yes.
Would you say
the whole point of radius of a square is to find if the edges of the square were a circle? That's all it is. It all refers to the circle, man.
And that's the logic, yeah.
You could have backed down ages ago, Gummy, when you said radius of a square, and we all went, "Don't be stupid." But you answered
and then I showed you several sources that showed that you're being stupid. Yes.
Oh my God.
Did you actually say it? The radius of a square, Gumibear?
And then Dieslow made the comment that he can logically imply the definition. And let me speak before you freaking interrupt. And then Dieslow said that he can logically imply the definition itself, only to then read the definition, which is not how you logically imply something.
We just give you the logical definition of it. 2 pi r. It belongs to all of the equations of a circle.
No, so that's not the definition of R.
No, that's
radius.
The
proof. A pedantic
usage of R.
The logical proof is that it works in all of the equations to do with the circle or the sphere. Right?
Yes.
There's a proof there, right?
But
so
what came first?
Where is it to do with the square?
What came first, using the radius, or did the radius appear from this? The answer is the radius was a thing before what you're talking about.
No, it says in postulate 3, actually, that a circle can be described from any center and any distance from that center. That is the radius. That's how you describe a circle.
Okay, so where does he use the word radius in his books?
Oh, come on, just back down,
He never
man.
uses the word radius in his books.
It's not a square. It is a circle.
Euclid did not use the word radius within his books. So can you please tell me?
Now, eh?
Can you? Well done. Yes, because you guys are complaining about the semantics, so that's why it's a semantical argument.
For what you asked for, the logical reason that R is related to the circle. We gave it you. We gave you all of the formulas that involve R that relate to the circle.
So,
right?
so I have not
something
said
to do with the square now, please, or back down.
I have not said.
Or what if we have the radius of
Can
Earth
you
and it's
let
a
me
square?
finish speaking?
Well, maybe we have the
before you
radius
start
of Earth
speaking
and it's
over
a
me.
square. Well, you keep bringing up the radius of Earth. Now Earth can be a square, right? So your radius is not designate spherical Earth anymore. Congratulations, you just debunked your entire model.
Don't
because
be so
you're
arrogant,
making
bro.
sense. Sorry.
Yeah. So if let me see, I need to catch myself again because I've lost it.
Yeah, you lost it ages ago
I've
when you
lost
said
it,
a
yeah.
radius of a square.
Yeah, because now
the thing that's a mathematical
radius.
function that everybody knows.
The radius of the square sounds so
I was
stupid.
walking my dog and tried to throw in the towel for you a long time ago, Gummy, and you just, I mean,
He
this
has
is
to keep
abuse at this
going.
point.
Okay.
This is abuse.
So
He's
the
got
problem
no
here,
choice.
the problem here is that when I was asking about the definition of the word radius, Bev then brings up quotes from Euclid in which he never uses the word radius, and then he complains that it's a semantic argument. Yes, you guys are complaining about the semantics of the word, and when it comes to Earth, and for example, when we say a radius, when you talk about the radius of a circle, you have a constant radius. When you talk about the radius of things like an ellipse, you don't have a constant radius, you have a changing radius. And so the radius of Earth is on average a set number, on average, which is spherical. But the reason why we call it an oblate spheroid is because it's not a constant radius. In truth, it has a bit of deviation at different points. This deviation is very small, but if you average it out, then you get this constant radius of 3959 miles. So,
We need to talk to
yes,
NASA, man.
saying radius doesn't infer a sphere. Saying a constant radius, that does infer a sphere.
Doesn't have anything to do with the square, though, does it? Nothing.
It can
0.
if you define the radius in a very
If you define it.
specific way.
If you define it.
Yeah. Self-define it, right?
If you
Relative
just
to you.
do whatever you want with it, right?
So the thing that makes
if you just
radius,
molest its definition,
the
right.
thing that
Got
makes
it, brother.
radius
Got it.
related to a sphere is that when you keep radius constant, you get a sphere.
Tell you
But
what,
what happens when you don't keep radius constant? What if you add a function to the radius?
You just
Then
said
you can
get
get
an
take
elliptic.
an
shapes.
ice cream.
Then
if you take
you
an
can
ice cream
get
scoop
shapes
to your balls
like
and
this.
shaft, do you make a vagina?
Is this how you guys like this
Let's not resort to that.
environment?
Apparently, this is how they want it.
Apparently, this is like what you do. Is you just make definitions up on the fly.
Well, these are definitions that are out there in
Yeah, and they're
And
non-applicable.
apparently, what
They're
you like
they
doing
have-
is
they have-
bringing up
listen,
vaginas.
Listen, they have no logic behind them. This is what you guys do. You pervert the words and the understanding of them, like waves. You guys think a wave is a fucking noun, but not one of you can show me a wave of itself, because a wave is not a noun. It's what something does.
There is nothing perverse about using the radius of a square. It just
No, it is.
It is a.
Can I make?
It's impossible to get these people shut up.
Can I make one point real quick? Your definitions that you're backing up are coming from Wiki. My kids can't even use that as a source. As you overtalk me, but you want me to stop everyone from overtalking you. And our definitions are coming from Euclid, geometry.
Euclid has
see the
never
difference
used
there?
Euclid did not use the word radius a single time in his books, which I mentioned earlier. So
Sure,
no,
big
you're
guy.
not using. So no, you're not using Euclid for the definition of radius. That is incorrect.
No, we're not using it like that. We give you the proof of R. It's in every circle thing. Even you take pi. Pi is the relationship of the circumference over the diameter. The diameter is twice the radius. It's related to everything to do with the circle.
When you start a sentence with
every pie has crust or dough, but dough doesn't make pies only. You can have dough to make other
Why
things.
are you doing this, guy?
Because that's the logic. That's the logic. Just
Why
because
not logic. Don't
just because logic. Just because.
Save that for later.
Let me finish what I want to say before you interrupt me, please.
Why
Gummy,
are
you
you
interrupted
running
me
away
saying
to
something.
pie crusts?
No, I started talking when
It's
it was
ridiculous.
open, and now I'm being interrupted. The analogy
you're
I'm
talking
making.
shite.
Let me. Are we gonna have any kind of moderation here, or what? I'm being constantly overspoken.
Yeah, you're talking about fucking radiuses of squares and pie crusts.
If
So
the moon
the analogy
is
I
like
made.
a giant pie crust radius pizza
The
pie
analogy I
amore.
made is because of the fact that yes, circles have radiuses, but just because you're talking about a radius doesn't mean you're talking about a circle. The same way that if you're talking about a pie,
Yeah, you are,
you have
though.
crust, but just because you have crust doesn't mean you have pie. That's the analogy. It's simple logic, and I don't see how you guys don't understand it.
Simple
You're talking about a curve with the radius value given by the radius, right? Because you say that, everyone knows what you mean. Nobody thinks square when anybody says there's a curvature with the radius of or go and make a radius of this, right? Go and make a curve, an archway with the radius of this. Nobody makes a square fucking arch, do they? You're crazy. Just back down, man. This is ridiculous. You're showing your sophistry. And it's ridiculous because you go into mathematics and geometry to do it. You can't do that.
All right. So what I would say is that Gummy made his final statement. Bev said his. I think we should move on.
Be a good idea.
Yeah.
I think there's a tooth over here, Gummy. Pick it up for you. Here you go.
But I like the idea of you doing some logic. I mean, you come in later if you had got any if P then Q's for in a bit.
Hey, what do you call a toothless bear?
How about
Gummy!
we delve into
Wow,
the claim
again, the
that
interruption.
someone made. How about we go into the claim someone made earlier that geometry
Right,
isn't a
I
part
have
of
an
math?
if P then Q statement. Can I give it?
If you
we
wait
move on?
for
Save
someone
it for
to
later.
to
9
speak.
o'clock, Rob.
Pardon?
So
Save it for later.
would we want to delve
Oh,
into the
Gummy,
statement someone
can I
made
give my
earlier?
logical statement? If P then Q.
Save it for later, Rob. 9 o'clock.
Yeah, Bev wants you to save it for later.
It's 11:52, Bev.
I don't think we should downplay that the R value can now
1
belong to
o'clock
any
then.
shape. Right?
A
Like, this
constant R
is
value.
anything.
A constant R value is that of a sphere. A changing R value will make up whatever the change is defined as. Like
You
if
should
you
bring
have
your
a
R
bring your
value doesn't
professor in
mean
here.
round, right? That's your statement.
Is that an
R
hour
value
from now,
doesn't mean
Bev?
yes, just saying R value doesn't say anything about the shape. Saying a constant R value, now that's a sphere.
Well, you don't have a constant R value. It changes, so that's good, though.
Yes, correct.
Yes, I
We
know.
don't
It
have a
changes every
constant.
day.
It's an average.
Does
Yeah,
it,
refraction.
Does it
Exactly.
change anything like a square would change with its R value?
No,
No, because our square doesn't have an R value, does it?
it does.
A constant R value on your model.
It does.
It's half the
No, they
vertical
don't.
line.
What does
They
R
don't.
stands for?
It changes.
We don't have a.
That's why I joined these chats, man. I laugh so much out of these people, man.
Yeah.
Because they think they're serious, right? They're smart.
Oh yeah, they
They
have to
say
win
nonsense
the
all day long.
They know so little about what the subject matter is they're talking about. They just want to win the argument. So when they say something really stupid, like a square's got an R value, they can't back down from that because they literally have no idea. They're ignorant of the actual geometry.
That
They
shows
don't realize how stupid it is.
how
What
they
they're
lack
saying.
humility, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. They are not humble enough to say, "Well, I made a mistake. Yeah, now I'm backing down. Nothing happened. There you go. We can move on." But no, you gotta get fixed on this shit, and then you can. It's like the light that keeps getting bigger and bigger. You move to something else, and then you gotta bring something from so that you don't lose the whatever.
The next thing you know, you're living on top of a ball.
The next thing you know, we have a real mathematical term, and people are
That's
arguing.
a great point, man.
The real funny thing is that we've got a real mathematical term that people are denying exists. All right.
Oh, come on. Go on now, dig deeper. Let's go.
Dig deeper? Dig deeper than the definition?
I still really think we should go back to the conversation of whether geometry is a subset of math or not.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because there was someone who said that it's not part
That's
of
what you
math.
want to argue about, like the two
Yes.
almost equal things that it was never established. What is the higher ranked? That's what you want to decide right now, or what?
Well, someone said earlier that geometry is not part of math.
What came first, the
both
geometry
framed
or the
on the
numbers?
logic. right? Framed
It's
on
been in
logic.
contention
both
for
of
like
them.
thousands of years, man. Like literally.
You
And
think
you
you're
want
is
capable of
geometry
doing
or
that?
what?
so is geometry part of math or not?
No. I denied that it was a subset. Right. That's what my denial was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's mathematical, sure. It's logical, to be sure. Yeah.
So how's it not a subset?
I'd say you can use mathematics, the numbers and the arithmetic, in order to use the data that are given by the geometry, right? To find the unknowns. You can use the mathematics in conjunction with the geometry to do a job, right? It's called trigonometry. That's the combination of the two. If you're going to talk about mathematics as being arithmetic, or you're going to talk about mathematics as numbers, I mean, it depends. Where do you want to go with the conversation? Because you have to define these things at the beginning, right? Is it the numbers we're talking about, or is it the actual application of the arithmetic? And you were separating that from geometry, or do you want to group it all together?
To me, geometry is a universal principle, and math is a language used to discuss magnitudes and forms.